Been growing this tea tree for a while. It's not the same species as the ones that grow near the ocean, but it's a relative. Life on a rock is never easy, but I hope my tree will grow well in its new home.
My tea tree did grow, but it's true that life is never easy. It took to life on a rock well and began growing immediately. It is a counterintuitive irony that bonsai trees will often grow even better on a rock than in a pot due to the increased access to oxygen. It grew well for about a year. Then, during a period of heavy La Nina rain, it got attacked by a fungus, possibly myrtle rust. I was in Korea at the time, so I asked my mother to cut off all the affected foliage and hope that better weather and good health would allow the tree to recover on its own. She went a bit heavier than I intended, but it seemed to work. Last year the tree was still recovering, so I didn't do much work on it, but I did remove the epoxy supports and wires and began the process of exposing the roots. The tree has been healthy since then, but I suspect that the large rock was impeding drainage, and that this may have contributed to the fungal problem. So today I want to repot it into a larger container. Also, while I always want this to remain a small tree, I wouldn't mind if it grew a little faster. While the roots have grown well, the area under the rock is something of a dead zone, so I think I've made the right choice to put it into a larger pot. The roots are conforming to the rock, but not yet gripping it tightly, so I decide to temporarily tie it with some raffia while I work on it. Purely for bonsai video aesthetics, I removed the raffia before I pruned the tree. I had hoped to be able to do more work on exposing the roots this year, but with the repot I think it's better left for next year. However, this one root is bugging me. It interferes with the flow of the tree. The pruning process today is objective and algorithmic. I cut back to 2 pairs of leaves, removed bar branches and branches growing straight up. Aesthetic decisions can wait until the tree has developed more and better formed branches. I do leave the first upward growing branch as a sacrifice branch to thicken the trunk and draw strength away from what will become the final tree. The knocking sound you can hear in the background, by the way, is the striped marsh frog who has come to live in my pond. Finally, I add some sphagnum to the rear of the stone in the hope that some roots will grow here and help to secure the tree to the rock. Large pieces of green moss will help to keep the sphagnum in place until the roots grow. I wanted to go back to the rocky shoreline where I searched for rocks in the first video I made on this tree. I haven't been there since that day. I wanted to think about how things have changed since then. When I made that video, I was angsting about being stuck in Australia. Now I'm back in Korea, and I think I'm happier, even though I'm far from my family and my trees. I sat on a rock and tried to reflect on that, but no particular thought came. I was acutely conscious that this was a moment created for video, that I had carefully set up this shot and was filming myself looking pensively at the ocean like I was Lord Byron. Like my tea tree, I think I've grown since that time, but perhaps not as quickly as I would have liked. Sometimes things just are what they are, and I don't have a lot to say. Three weeks later, the tree is putting out new growth and recovering well.